Hi, I was recently asked during a podcast, what is the hardest part of your journey? What has the hardest part of your journey been? And I had to think about it, so I didn't really offer a whole lot of information about the specifics in the podcast because I wanted to keep things positive. But there's a more negative kind of thing going on here that I thought I would come over here where I'm safe to share whatever I want to share and help you guys understand a little bit more of what kind of I've been through and what's motivated me to get even more aligned with my purpose and my passion in tattooing. So the hardest thing that I've had to deal with has been community slander. So this started way back in 2019 in Houston, and there was some, there's a little bit of truth in every lie, but I wasn't given a chance to hear what was being said and really address the truth or the facts of it. I've been left out of the conversation entirely this whole time. So I still am not certain what's been said about me, which doesn't really matter because haters gotta hate. What people say about me, I think, is none of my business. Um, what they believe about me is on them because they can choose to believe. We can all choose to believe whatever we want to believe. But what they repeat without validating is where community slander comes in. And community slander is a crime punishable by jail time as well as $50,000 fines per occurrence. So every time somebody has said something about me or shared a screenshot or anything like that, they can go to jail and be charged up to $50,000 every single time. Even the people who knew what they were saying wasn't true, who didn't stop it, they can also go to jail. So it is a crime and it is a trauma, especially for me because I've been through so much just in losing my breasts, and I lost my mom to cancer. And I really tried to turn all of that into a beautiful thing with A.R.T, with the A.R.T of Areola Restorative Tattooing and artschool.inc. And of course, the work that I do. So I've been tattooing since 96. I've been tattooing areola since 2010. And I've been teaching areola since about 2014 because I was tattooing about 18 years and I'd already written a book and made some products like nipple backs. And I was like, okay, artists got to get a little bit better. Back then, no tattoo artists were really drawing areolas. There was a few, body artists that were doing it. Brian Everett, Tony Olivas, um, uh, like so bad with recall, especially when I'm trying to think of, like, I feel on the spot, you always feel a little bit nervous talking and it's hard to remember. But little Vinny Myers was also an artist that I looked up to back then. So, and Vivian Lazonga, Mary Jane Hawk, they did a seminar at a national tattoo convention in 2007 in Reno that I was at. And I was like, right away, because my mom had been diagnosed with cancer. I didn't know I had the gene yet. And right away, I was like, oh my gosh, we need this in Canada. I can bring something like this to Canada because I started tattooing scars in 2000 or 1999. I started tattooing scars and nobody was teaching it back then. So I made some mistakes. And I thought, even if I could help people understand what's going on below the surface so they don't make the same mistakes, I thought that will help a lot of people. And definitely a lot of breast cancer survivors and previvors like me. So I got pretty attached to it pretty quick. And then when I found out that in late 2008 that I also had the gene that killed my mother, I became completely committed and I dedicated my entire career to it. And so I started drawing areolas. I took a training. I started to write a book about drawing areolas because that was really the problem that needed to be fixed the most back then. Was, like I said, nobody was really drawing them except for those few body artists who already know how to draw. And back then, the pushback that I received was people just saying, I'll never be as good as you, blah, blah, blah. Like all of their self derogatory statements were about their inability to accomplish this goal, like negative self talk, limiting beliefs. And so my message became drawing is a skill, not a talent. Anybody can learn to do it. All it takes is some time and effort. And I can guide you and I can help you with the kind of the steps on how to build an optical illusion up safely in damaged skin. And I'll show you how great you can be. I used to say on their posts all the time, your hard work is showing, because I know how hard it was for them to overcome those limiting beliefs. And I wanted them to see that I knew that they could be good even when they didn't feel the same way. So I got pretty strong on that. I got pretty like, no, we have to learn how to draw. And it's worked. I've sold out 9 editions of that first book. I've made Nickelback's temporary areola tattoos came from the book when I made everything digital to put it into print. All my artwork became digital, and then I turned it into temporary tattoos because they didn't exist. And I thought, what a great way to help women until their scars are ready, because there was a lot of people tattooing them before their scars were ready and causing even more damage. And, you know, when I was in the hospital losing my breasts, the first time I looked in the mirror when the doctor took the first bandages off of me, I was shocked. I had tubes coming out of me everywhere. And it was that was a little trauma, just looking at myself without nipples and just all these scars and tubes. And I was like, oh my God, this is how women feel when they lose their breasts. Oh my God. I never wanted to feel like that, but I had a mass, and the doctors said, you need to have a preventative mastectomy. This mass is scary. So I had this huge mass in my left breast, I believe. And so I agreed. I'm like, well, I'm not having kids, so that's fine. Let's do it. And then I'll be safe, because my mother had just died. And I saw how cancer kicked her butt. And I didn't want to go to the same, we have this gene. I was left with an 83% chance of getting breast cancer and a 66% chance of getting ovarian cancer. And I just felt like I have an opportunity to use my powers for good instead of evil. Like, you know, because tattooing had a bad name back then, right? All the bikers or whatever. Like, I'm one of the art school kids, but that wasn't the stereotype of tattooing back then. And I just thought, wow, I could really use everything that I've learned the hard way and really help women connect with their body again. So I set about doing just that. And uh, the reason that I didn't go this deep in the podcast was because it is challenging being this vulnerable. It is intimidating talking about things that are this private. But I was also the kid that was always, everyone was like, stop being so loud, stop talking so much. And now I realize that I was born to do this. It's just been quite an interesting transition into talking about something that's so hard to talk about. But because I don't have cancer trauma, because I never had a cancer diagnosis, I do think that I am the perfect person to talk about this stuff, because I know what it was like to lose my breasts. I experienced body dysmorphia. I knew what it was like to tattoo. I went to art school. I won awards for my realism. If you've watched any of my videos, you guys know all this. I'm just trying to rush through it quickly. But I just felt like all these little tools in my backpack set me up to, this is my calling. This is my purpose. And it just so happens that I was passionate about it. So it made me happy and joyful to share this information with others. A lot of teaching is done by recall. Remember this and you'll get an A. And that's how I think, you know, most successful doctors, because there's so much to know, they really are successful because of their ability to recall. Oh, the name for this is that. Oh, the correlation is this. And they've got a really good little Rolodex of all the little health things that could be going wrong. But when you come to being an artist and a creator and then working in compromised tissue, it becomes about understanding. And those two are a little bit different. We've got right brain and left brain going on there, right? So I teach in a way, and I become more and more and more in alignment with this since the community slander experience, which is still going on. But I'm just gonna, I mean, my lawyers are chomping at the bit to sue. I haven't made a decision on that yet, but they're ready to go. It's not really who I am, and it's not really the way I play the game. Plus, if I sued, then I would be getting into a war that I didn't consent to. I would never go to war with other people who are doing areola tattoos. I would never talk bad about them. The problem that I had with the entire industry is that they're selling these 3-day trainings, and I don't personally believe it can be learned in 3 days. It's going to lead to a lot of mistakes and survivors paying the price for that. And probably it's going to, I haven't gotten any evidence yet to the contrary of my beliefs. I haven't learned anything about any of this work that makes me think that I am wrong in that belief. So like nobody's proved me wrong yet. Nobody's shown me, look at how great this person with no experience is after at every tattoo. They're consistent with every areola tattoo, no matter the scar tissue. And they learned all of that in 3 days and look, they're better than you or whatever. It's not a competition, it's not a race, and it is definitely not a war. But I do really love people working hard to master their craft. And I believe hard work is what makes good areola artists. Like I said, it's not a talent, it is a skill you can develop, but only if you put the time in. Because I can tell on first glance areola artists who draw nipples compared to areola artists who don't draw nipples. It shows up in their work, whether or not they put that time in. It's like the optical illusion is just a little bit more convincing, right? So what I've learned is the way that I have been able to alchemize this trauma, this betrayal trauma, this community slander experience into something beautiful, turning my pain into beauty, is that it really just helped me drop everything that wasn't important to me and focus on what is important to me. The right students will find me. The right clients will find me. I love sharing my moments with my scarred clients, whatever they've been through, whatever kind of scars they have. There's usually a little bit of trauma wrapped up in the marks left on the body. And I love being able to move them through those feelings so that they can see the strength that was already there, but they just couldn't notice because the pain bubble was blocking the way. So thank you, ladies, everybody who has lied on me and lied about me or whatever, all that community slander. I think it's like, it feels like junior high school stuff. So everybody who's ever partaken in that, I'm grateful to, because it helped me get even more on path, more on purpose. And I love what I do. I really do. I hope to change. You know, we're not perfect all the time. Nobody can expect anybody to be perfect, especially me, because I'm still healing from my trauma. Especially since I almost died. I needed an emergency surgery. So my implants were recalled. They were making me sick. They do cause cancer. It's not just the type of implant, whether it's saline or silicone, it's the gel, like the encasement of them. If you research gel bleed, you'll understand what I'm talking about. There's carcinogenic ingredients in each implant's casing. So I decided to have mine taken out because they were making me sick and they do cause cancer. And I still do have this genetic, I have a gene mutation. So I need to reduce risk in my life. So I took those out. Within 10 days, I was back in the hospital with some intense bleeding. So I started hemorrhaging at home in bed. Luckily, it didn't happen when I was asleep because I may not have woken up. It did happen like more as I was waking up in the morning. I might have moved and pulled a drain the wrong way or something. And I think that a vein got nicked. And so it opened up and I moved the wrong way and it opened up and it just started bleeding into the cavity that the implants left behind. And I still had drains in, so I was measuring it because the drain would fill up and I would have to dump it out, and then I would measure it. How much did I jump out? And I was doing that at home by myself, and it was terrifying. And so by the time I got to the hospital, I was like, needed an emergency surgery. My doctor was like, okay, I'm going there right now. Meet me at this hospital. You have to go to this room. And I got to the hospital and the overworked, overwhelmed, bitchy nurse said, back of the line. And I'm like, no, I need to go into emergency. I'm like, I'm in surgery room. That's right now. My doctor's up there waiting for me. And, but I was getting dizzy and, my cousin had drove me, but she was parking the car. She let me out. She put me in a wheelchair. She started pushing me in the right direction, went to park the car, then came back to get me and take me to the hotel room and leave me at where they could check me in, right? But they were already, I had the room prepped by the time I got there. And this lady was like, back of the line. And I was like, I could die at the back of the line. I have lost so much blood and I'm going in and out of consciousness. And oh my God, it was just a really, really, really crappy experience. So I've received, honestly, most of my ideas, most of my the things that I've turned into creations have come through in those moments where I was desperate to try to alchemize and turn that terrible experience into something positive. And the way that I could do that was think about the people that I wanted to help with the positive thing instead of helping myself with in that negative moment. So I was just like, oh man, this is going to help people so much. I can't wait to do this. I'm going to do a magazine. I did 2 magazines and I spotlighted all the people that I admired their work and people that I, thought was my friends, like I said earlier. So I guess really my advice that I'd like to share to wrap that up is just in the same ways that the things that have been really hard in my life have also been the things that have led to the best things in my life. And so if you're thinking about creating something and you're worried about what other people might say, like I said, haters gonna hate. Let them. Let them. Just let them. They got whatever. Who cares? Who cares what people say about you? Who even cares what people believe about you? You're not going to stop them. You're not going to change their mind. Do it anyway. If you're afraid of getting judgment, they're going to judge you. Do it anyway. And make sure that you keep the joy in those creations, that you smile when you're making things, and it gives you an opportunity to face those limiting beliefs and really breathe through them a little bit and really just, this is scary, because it is. Creating something that's never been created before is scary and it's intimidating and it's awesome and it's fun and it's all of the things. You're going to go through all of the feelings, but do it anyway. So I used to say, F the rest, do your best. Do your best and F the rest. It's really just about doing what you were put here to do. And if you are on the verge of doing something like that, I see you. I've had a lot of struggles in this realm too. We brought the world's first permanent areola pigments to market, the world's first scarred practice skins, tattoo skins, the world's first colored practice tattoo skins, the world's first realistic areola temporary tattoos. We've done a lot of things that didn't exist before. And if I could give my old self a little bit of advice, it would be the advice that I just gave you. They're going to talk, they're going to judge. Let them. Ignore them. People told me to take the high road, but I was so my trauma didn't, like that, like I said, like that big ball of trauma was in my way. It affected my clarity. So whatever you've got that's leading to that negative belief system or limiting belief, just don't let it affect your clarity. Just kind of move it out of the way or peek around it and make sure that you can see the path ahead and that you stay on that. And hopefully those big balls of negativity, you can just push them out of the way eventually. Just keep them rolling down the hill. Don't let anything stand in your way and just do the amazing thing. And stand proud that you did something that was all you. So thank you for coming to my chit chat and have a great day and create and love your job and love your clients and really cherish those special moments that you have with your clients and your coworkers. Because for me, after almost 30 years of tattooing, that's really what it makes that's why tattooing is worthwhile to me. I just look forward to going to work. I'm like, I just know that I'm going to have this like beautiful little moment with this client and we're going to both feel so nourished and uplifted. And that just makes all the struggle worthwhile. Have a great day.